is currently. What is going on, everyone, for this edition of Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube here, as we got a battle for Indiana in the Big Ten today, as the Indiana Hoosiers travel to the Mackey Arena to take on the Purdue Boilermakers. And I cannot wait for this one. Indiana currently ranked number 25 in the top 25 inside the AP poll, playing against Purdue. As we're a couple minutes away from this one starting, I'll run down the game for today. Let's start off with a home team, the Purdue Boilermakers, at home this season. They're 8-0 playing in West Lafayette, Indiana, and they're riding that 2-game winning streak, and they have a 10-game winning streak at home as this rivalry game between Indiana and Purdue. This marks the 208th meeting for the Battle of Indiana in Big Ten play, as Purdue leads the series 118-89. As today, the blackout game will happen at Purdue University with the student section here in Mackey Arena and approximately 14,000 fans. We'll be wearing black today for this one at Mackey Arena. That 2-game winning streak by the Boilermakers, it all started by beating Wisconsin last Friday in overtime, 84-80 to take that one. Then they beat Rutgers on Tuesday. They clobbered them by 35 points in that 89-54 win. Purdue had 39 points off the bench combined with 3 players. Those players were Travion Williams, Sasha Stefanovic, and Aaron Wheeler to have those 35 bench points against Rutgers coming off that big win in Big Ten play. The key player for the Boilermakers today, they'll turn to the junior guard, number 3, Carson Edwards, who's having a terrific season, averaging 24.9 points per game. That's good for 4th in college basketball right now and 1st overall in the Big Ten. Edwards shot 6 for 14 from behind the arc over the win against Wisconsin last week. That's the one that they won by 4 in overtime. Carson Edwards, he's also scored 30 or more points in 4 games this season, so count on him to be a factor today as the Boilermakers take on the Hoosiers. Edwards had a season-high 40 points against the Texas Longhorns back on December 9th, where he shot 7 for 14 from behind the three-point line. And we'll look to this rivalry game with Indiana and Purdue as we look to that strength of schedule and top 25 for the Purdue Boilermakers out there, as the strength of schedule for Purdue, they ranked as the 5th toughest in the nation out of 353 teams overall. And they're 2-4 against the top 25, as I'll show you those top 25 games that they started off 0-3 against the top 25, lost to number 9 Virginia Tech, a close one early in non-conference play by 6, lost to Florida State by 1, who's ranked, and then lost to Michigan. But the last 2 games against top 25 opponents, they beat them. They beat Maryland, and they beat Iowa. As we turn the script here to the Indiana Hoosiers coming in with a 3-game losing streak. They're 3-3 in Big Ten play, as they started out 3-0. Indiana's 12-5 overall, and they're trying to stop that 3-game losing streak from here happening at Purdue, as they've lost against Maryland and Nebraska on Monday, and that streak started 2 weeks ago against Michigan. And they'll play 6 out of their 8 games on the road from Big Ten play when it started against Michigan back on January 6th, and their road trip goes all the way to February 2nd. So 6 out of those 8 games on the road for the Indiana Hoosiers. The key players to watch for the Hoosiers today, well, there's 2 of them. Romeo Langford, the freshman guard, he leads the Big Ten in conference games with an average of 21.3 points per game in the Big Ten. And overall, he has around an average of 18.8 points per game on the season for the freshman. Terrific season for Romeo Langford. He's been named Big Ten freshman 4 times so far this season, and he scored 12 or more points in every single one of his games this season. As we look to the other key player for Indiana, that would be Jawan Morgan, the senior forward, who he had a career high 35 points back in December. That was the win against the Butler Bulldogs on that game. Another team from Indiana where Indiana won Butler at the buzzer. It was Rob Finney who hit a long top of the key three right at the buzzer to put Indiana to win that one. Now back to Juwan Morgan. Morgan is one of 11 active players in college basketball right now to have these stats. These career totals include over 1,000 career points, which he has 1,111. Over 500 career rebounds. He has 603 career rebounds. Also, career assists, he's over 100 as well with 125. And over 100 career block shots at his time at Indiana, as he has 108. Very important to note, if Indiana wants to come away with a victory today, is that shooting could be the key, as they have the number 3 best shooting team in the nation right now, connecting on 50.9 of its shots from the floor. So that's a little bit about both of the teams, Indiana and Purdue, as we get a shocker that just came in here as we look to the top 25, is that the Michigan Wolverines are no longer undefeated. They lost to Wisconsin today by 10, 64-54. As we look to other top 25 action that happened today or going on right now, North Carolina and the Tar Heels won by 9 against Miami today, 85-76. Other games in the top 25 that's been going on, Ole Miss is up at halftime by 11 to Arkansas. And just started is Kansas against West Virginia. That game just getting going on right now, as we're minutes away from tip-off here between the Battle of Indiana. It's Indiana and Purdue on Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. And what a dandy we have in store today. If you haven't liked the channel, subscribe to my videos, feel free to chat away and interact with me in the chat, as we'll have a great game in store, hopefully, for today. Game 1 of Game 2, as later tonight at 6 o'clock, I'll also be streaming the Virginia-Duke game that goes on as well. As we talk about key players, so it was for Purdue, Carson Edwards, definitely the key player, as I made the mention before. 40 points, a career high against Texas back on December 9th, and then Indiana with their 2 key players, Juwan Morgan, the senior leader, averaging 16.5 points per game. He also has an average of 7.8 rebounds per game. For field goal percentage, shooting from the floor for Juwan Morgan, yeah, he's been making a difference too. He's 3rd in the Big Ten, shooting the ball from the floor, averaging 62.4 points per game. And we look at Romeo Langford for Indiana as well, if he wants to make an impact today, the freshman guard. 18.8 points per game for Langford. He's 4th in the Big Ten right now in scoring for points per game, and he also can do it from the line as well, shooting 73.8%, and from the floor shooting 50.2%. So right now, both of these teams on bracketology and the latest ESPN bracketology are in as of right now for the tournament projection. Still have 2 months to go, as Indiana's projected as an 8 seed in the latest bracket, and Purdue up there as well, projected as the 6th seed, as we're almost ready for this one, as Michigan lost a little while ago earlier today against Wisconsin, so no longer undefeated. Michigan State now at the top of the conference, as we're here at the Mackey Arena on the screen giving you play-by-play from this one. As you're tuning into Behind the Arc Basketball, we're almost ready here to go with Indiana and Purdue. As we look at Big Ten play, that loss by Michigan puts them in 2nd right now in the Big Ten. Michigan State currently sits at 7-0 in Big Ten play, 16-2 overall for the Spartans. And Michigan still has 2 games yet to play against Michigan State as well. As we look at the starting lineup, Carson Edwards, Ryan Klein, Nogel Eastern, Grady Eifert, and Travion Williams for Purdue, followed up by Indiana with Romeo Langford, Rob Finney, Zach McRoberts, Justin Smith out there as well, and Juwan Morgan as both of the teams in color uniforms for this one. Indiana in red, Purdue in black and gold, and the tip's up to Purdue, who gets it first and controls it. It's Grady Eifert who has it. Nogel Easter now passing the ball off to Eifert. Eifert now has Ryan Klein, who has it at the edge of the Purdue logo. Throws it to Edwards. Edwards trying to go into the lane with a spin, and he lays it in. Is Carson Edwards. 2-0 Purdue. So early strike for the Boilermakers, and here comes Indiana. Past the timeline now. Romeo Langford has it. Throws it almost stolen inside. Jawan Morgan kicks it back outside. Back to Morgan. 3-ball from behind the arc. No good from the right wing by Morgan. And Purdue gets the rebound. Purdue coming in with their strength of schedule inside the top 10 for toughest strength of schedule in the nation. They've won 5 of their last 6. Purdue passing the ball around the perimeter up 2-0 with 19:02 left in the first. Trying to go in the low post. This is Travion Williams trying to back in and try to float it over the top, and he gets it in, and it's 4-0 Boilermakers. 18:50 left in the first. Nice job by Purdue right there. It's Indiana passing the ball around the perimeter. Now it's Jawan Morgan. Gets it to Zach McRoberts in the game. Romeo Langford passing it outside. This is Justin Smith. Throws it in the right corner. Now goes back to Smith, who goes to Finney, who's in the game. And looks like Indiana lost control of that ball. But it's the last touch by Purdue. So Indiana will get it back. It's Carson Edwards, to recap, made the first basket on the lay-in for Purdue. And now Indiana has a deep 3 off the front rim of the iron. No good. Rebound Boilermakers. Carson Edwards trying to take it in the lane. And looks like there's a foul called on the play. So as we pointed out, Carson Edwards, 4th right now in all college basketball with an average points per game with 24.9. Romeo Langford, he's averaging 18.8 points per game. The freshman guard from Indiana, as Purdue gets to inbound it. Oh, 3-ball, and it goes down as the fans love it here in West Lafayette. They'll call it a deep 2 as his foot was on the line. Looked like Ryan Klein was wide open right there as he hit it on the baseline corner 3, and there's a foul call going the other way for Indiana. That's Jawan Morgan who tried to drive in the lane. Let's see this shot right here. Nobody manning up on Ryan Klein, as, yeah, he was just a deep baseline 2, they'll call it. So not enough from behind the arc to make it a 3, as his foot was on the line and right in front of the 3-point line. So Purdue's up 6-0. Indiana will inbound with 18:05 as lobbed over the top to the outside. Justin Smith, and now left wing 3, no good. Smith with a rebound as Smith puts it up the glass, and Indiana has their first points of the game. Justin Smith, 6-2. So now Purdue has it, passing it around the perimeter, and now it's Nogel Eastern. He passes it to the left wing. This is Grady Eifert, who feeds it out to Edwards. Edwards, step back 3 from the baseline. Nothing but net for Carson Edwards. As he hits the 2, he has 4 right now. 8-2 Purdue. Indiana takes it past the timeline. As Finney is in the game, Romeo Langford has it at the top of the key. Langford driving to the right wing. Langford hands it off as now they're passing it around the perimeter. Now at the right side of the perimeter, Langford with it again, trying to go inside, and looks like the charge is called, and Romeo Langford gets called for the foul as Purdue takes the charge. Indiana gets charged with a foul, and Purdue will get the ball back. As we look at the head coaches, Archie Miller for Indiana in his second season. He has a record of 28-20 with a 58.3 winning percentage. Before coaching Indiana, he was the head coach for the Dayton Flyers for 6 years. As Purdue has the ball now past the timelines, Eastern throws it at the free throw line. This is Matt Harms in the game. Now passing around the outside and going inside to Harms. Harms try to get it off the basket in, though. And coming away with the ball is Indiana. going up the court. Zach McRoberts now with it. Finney at the left wing with the ball to the right wing. This is Justin Smith now. Right wing, right corner now dribbling right wing. Aljami Durham in the game. Lots of passing. Left wing, three wide open. No good. Couldn't get the shot to fall for Finney, who hit the buzzer beater in non-conference play back in December against Butler. Carson Edwards has it for Purdue. Now tries to throw it inside. It's rejected. Indiana trying to go up the court now, down 8-2 with 16:10 left in the first. Passing around the outside is Rob Finney with the ball at the left wing. Now goes all the way back to the front court towards the Purdue logo, trying to call a play. Finney now trying to drive inside, kicks it back outside to the right corner. And trying to drive baselines. Finney loses control of the ball and it goes out of bounds, and it's a turnover back to Purdue. As we have 15:53 left in the first, this game is Purdue 8, Indiana 2, as Rob Finney for the Indiana Hoosiers tried to drive baseline right there, and it looked like the ball almost got off the foot of Matt Harms, but they'll call it out on Finney. So there's a commercial break on the floor. We'll get back for some more. You're listening to Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube, and remember to like my videos, and don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button down below. So let's jump into these stats. So Michigan lost today, so I'm just going to post the time here. So 15:53 left in the first. We have, and Purdue's up 8-2. Now I'm just going to go into the stats, see if there's anything unusual here for both of these teams or how they look. So yeah, Carson Edwards, oh wow, yeah, so he already has 5 points. Perfect shooting the ball as he hit a three-pointer and he got the first basket to fall on the lay-in inside for Carson Edwards. Looks like as a team, Purdue's shooting the ball really well, 80% for 4 for 5 right now. Edwards has the only 3-point attempt and he made it in this game. Just going to pull out some of these stats, see what's going on for both of these squads here as we look at the team stats. That's where we find them. Yeah. So, yeah, Indiana, I think coming into the game, they had the third best shooting percentage in all of college basketball. Yeah, so Indiana coming into this game was number 3 in shooting percentage with connecting on 50.9% of its shots. And right now they're only hitting on 20% of its shots. 1 for 5 right now. 0 for 4 from behind the arc. And the rebound department, Purdue's winning that one early as well, 4-1. Still got a ton of game left. Not even 5 minutes into the first here. Both of the teams have turned over the ball twice. And for fouls, Indiana has 3, Purdue has 1. But yeah, I think we're just basically getting the feel for this game right now with both of these teams getting going, and it should be hopefully more scoring and back and forth ball playing as soon as we get it. Lots of games in action right now. I know Ole Miss, Arkansas just started their second half, 51-43, number 18. Ole Miss is up, and Tennessee is taking control of the game early against Alabama, up 11-2 right now. What else we got going on? North Carolina State, Notre Dame. Yeah, 13-12. North Carolina State's up against Notre Dame right now. It looks like we're back at the Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, Indiana. As Purdue inbounds it, it's Ryan Klein who passes it off. Now it's Matt Harms with the ball, who dumps it off to Eric Hunter Jr. now. In the game off the bench, here's the Boilermakers in the hands of Carson Edwards towards the top of the key. Kicks it back out, left wing 3, and it goes down for the Boilermakers. 11-2. from the outside as Purdue hits another shot. I think that was Grady Eifert, number 24, the senior forward who hit that one from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Purdue up now by 9. 15-11 in the first as the ball's on the ground. And let's see who gets the possession arrow here as there was a tie-up as a Purdue player in Indiana was fighting for as Matt Painter loves it as well. Head coach of Purdue, that is Matt Painter in his 14th season with a record of 306 wins and 155 losses. Good for a winning percentage of 66.4. So Indiana will get the inbound. So the ref calls it that Indiana has the ball now with 15 minutes left in the first, and the feed inside and the slam. Justin Smith puts it in. 60.5% from the field this season as Justin Smith slammer jams it down, and it's 11-4 Purdue. Now still up. As Purdue's passing the ball around the perimeter now. 3 ball in the short of the rim by Edwards, but the offensive board, top of the key 3, no good by Eric Hunter Jr. Rebound control by Justin Smith, and Indiana's going the other way with it. Aljami Durham passes it to the top of the key to Justin Smith now, who has, that is, Devontae Green in the game for Indiana, passing the ball to Aljami Durham. Durham now trying to call play at the top of the key towards the Purdue logo. Durham dribbling with 10 on the shot clock, top of the key 3. Oh, it goes down for the Hoosiers right there on the 3 ball by Jawan Morgan. 11-7 Purdue. Ball's taken past the timeline. Eric Hunter Jr. dribbles it out to Grady Eifert, who gets it into Matt Harms, passes off to Carson Edwards. Edwards trying to drive, feeds it out baseline. That is to Hunter, who Hunter rims out as he tried to hit the jumper near the baseline. Rebound Indiana, going the other way. Indiana looking for that top of the key 3, didn't want to take it. As there's passing around the perimeter, Durham at the point throws it back outside to Devontae Green at the right wing, looking for something with 12, lobs it cross court. Now trying to back its way inside, top of the key 3, off the pass, no good. Rebounded by Carson Edwards of Purdue. Edwards takes it past the timeline. Dribbling now, finds the left corner with Eric Hunter, who now is trying to back it inside. This is Matt Harms. Matt Harms trying to go inside, and with a spin move he does. Puts it off the glass and in for number 32 from the Netherlands, Matt Harms. Off the glass to put this one at 13-7 Purdue as the ball's on the ground. Indiana has it. Devontae Green hands it off to Aljami Durham. Durham trying to dribble inside, and looks like we got ourselves a foul called right there. Matt Harms went hard to the ground on that one. Just before that, for Purdue, Matt Harms backing into the key with a spin move, puts it off the glass and up and in right before that. We got ourselves 12:41 left in the first. Purdue with 13, Indiana with 7 right now. As looks like Matt Harms, the center sophomore from the Netherlands, takes a seat on the bench for the Boilermakers. Coming out of the game right now, the point guard for Indiana, Devontae Green. Indiana and the Hoosiers will inbound it. 12:41 left in the first, as looks like we got a timeout called on the court. To discuss, Indiana will call a timeout. Archie Miller will talk things over here. And you're listening to Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. Remember, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button down below and like my videos as well that I put out. And throughout this whole college basketball season and into March Madness, I'll be streaming my live play-by-play reactions of college basketball games that I can get over here, as we've had some great games so far this season as well. We look at that top 10 on there. Duke against Virginia, the 1-against-1, number 1 in the AP top 25, going up against number 1 in the coaches poll later today. I'll be having that one for you guys as well. That game starts at 6 p.m. later today. Duke against Virginia. Now we're back to action as Indiana looking to inbound it. 12:41 left in the first. Indiana down by 6. As the ball is lobbed over the top to Justin Smith, who feeds it inside, and it could not go off the glass by Jawan Morgan, but Nogel Eastern tried to take control of it for Purdue, and it just slipped off his hands out of bounds with 12:35 left in the first. So 15 on the shot clock. Indiana will inbound it once again. Looking for a man who's open, finally finds it at the left corner. This is Aljami Durham now, who throws it into Morgan, who's trying to back his way inside. Morgan right there, and the refs look like they call a reach-in foul, trying to guard Morgan. And it seems like Travion Williams for Purdue is guilty of that one, as Purdue picks up their third team foul. Back in the game is Matt Harms, and Travion Williams takes a seat on the bench. He already has 2 fouls in this one for the Boilermakers. Once again, Indiana will inbound it. Looking for somebody who's open, throws it to the back of the front court to Durham, now passing it around the outside to Justin Smith. At the right wing, lays it down to the right wing next to him, Jawan Morgan. Morgan trying to dribble inside, guarded by Harms, throws it back, left, 3 from the corner, and it hits. Justin Smith hits that one down for Indiana. It's 13-10. So Indiana finding a little bit of magic here and there from behind the arc. 2 for 7 right now shooting, as they just hit their second from 3. Matt Harms with the ball at the top of the key. Throws it off to Klein. Klein looking inside. Couldn't get it. Was Eastern as he airballed it. Gets his own rebound. Eastern floats up the shot right there. Gets rejected by the rim, but it looks like a foul is called by Indiana. So when we get back, Nogel Eastern shooting 2 from the line for Purdue. We got a good one so far right now. Indiana 10, Purdue 13 with 11:52 right now in the first. You're listening to Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. So yeah, close game here, as Indiana was down 13-7. They've clawed their way right back in it now, 13-10. Still got a while left in the first, not even halfway through the first right now. As we got other games going on right now, Tennessee is just taking control of this game against Alabama, up 16-4 right now. Ole Miss is running away with it as well against Arkansas. Ole Miss coming off that big win that propelled them into the top 25. That was last week's win against ranked Mississippi State. As I've got, Ole Miss, that big win last Saturday against Mississippi State, marked the first time that Ole Miss has ever been in the top 25 since 2013. That was the first time that Ole Miss has been in the top 25 since 2013. We've got a pretty good game here as we're at a commercial break between Indiana and Purdue. As we look at the other games in the Big Ten, undefeated no more. Michigan fell to Wisconsin today, 64-54, as Michigan falls to 17-1. So they get their first loss on the season in Big Ten play as well. Michigan's no longer the number 1 Big Ten team. Michigan State is still undefeated, and the Wolverines have to travel to play the Spartans in late February, I believe, and then early March. So both of those Big Ten games, Michigan versus Michigan State, don't happen until towards the end of the regular season. As in this Big Ten field, there's approximately, I'd say, 10 teams right now that's projected in this week's ESPN Bracketology latest bracket for those 10 teams from the Big Ten. Yeah, they have ranked teams just all over the place right now in the Big Ten. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have five of their teams inside the Big Ten are ranked. Michigan State, Michigan, Maryland, Iowa, Indiana as well. Indiana, however, has lost 3 in a row. So this would be a huge win against them for Purdue, but they haven't beat any top 25 teams, as they've lost those games 3 in a row against Michigan, against Maryland, and then the one that hurt them was against Nebraska. Nebraska's 3-4 in the conference right now. As looks like we're almost back to action here after the commercial break at the Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, Indiana. To give you a little bit of rundown of both of the head coaches, Matt Painter for Purdue in his 14th season as head coach with 306 wins coming into this game, 155 losses. Good for a 66.4% winning percentage as we're back to action. Painter giving his team a pep talk before the game from the free throw line. The first one hits for Nogel Eastern to make it 14-10 Boilermakers. The second one from the sophomore from Evanston, Illinois. Hits that one as well for Nogel Eastern. Perfect from the line so far. 2 for 2, 15-10 Purdue. As Indiana has it now in the hands and past the timeline. Aljami Durham at the left wing. Throws it out to the top of the key. That's Justin Smith, who it's a lot of passing off around the perimeter. Finney feeds it inside. No good. Shot short off the mark by Morgan. Rebound by Eastern going the other way. Deep three. Oh, missed. Right there. The deep three taken from the left wing by Carson Edwards. No good. Indiana has it now. And trying to move the ball. This is the Hoosiers now moving the ball around. Trying to get it in there. As looks like the ball's rolling around inside the key. Indiana's tied up with it as there was a battle for the ball between Matt Harms of Purdue and Jawan Morgan inside. As if you're just joining us, Purdue is up against Indiana right now, 15-10 in this one. Justin Smith for Indiana having 7 out of the 10 points so far for the Hoosiers and shooting the ball pretty well. So the ball was on the floor, recovered by Indiana, but it was a tie-up. Possession arrow goes back to Purdue. Purdue has it in the hands of, looks like in the game, that's Evan Boudreau that's in the game, who hands it off to Sasha Stefanovic in the game as well. Boudreau trying to drive in the key. Boudreau over 4 defenders. Couldn't get it, but he gets the offensive board and kicks it back outside. Now Stefanovic hands it off and now trying to go inside. Driving baseline is Eastern. Eastern now trying to dribble into the key and couldn't get it. As the offensive foul is called, trying to back his way into the key was Nogel Eastern for Purdue, and he'll turn the ball over as it'll go back to the Hoosiers. 15 for Purdue, 10 for Indiana, 10:22 left in the first. As now we got passing around the perimeter at the right side. Into the hands of Rob Finney at the right wing. Finney backs his way out of it. Finney now towards the Purdue logo, looking towards it. Hands it off back to Finney. Finney looking left corner. Fake for the 3. No, Justin Smith. Deep 2 from the left elbow, and he hits it. 15-12 Indiana. Justin Smith connecting on everything. 9 points so far. As Purdue has it, Carson Edwards leaves it for Boudreau, who has Nogel Eastern now. And back to Stefanovic. Stefanovic trying to drive. As we got passing around the perimeter in the hands of Carson Edwards. Edwards, deep 2 from the elbow, no good, and rebounded by the Hoosiers. Down 15-12 right now for Indiana, and the foul is called. As Stefanovic gets his body in there for Purdue, but they don't call it offensive, as looks like Aljami Durham was driving inside the key for Indiana. But they'll call the foul on Stefanovic of Purdue. So with 9.5 left, Indiana will inbound it. Deep 3, got it to fall, and the Hoosiers tie it up at 15. What a shot from the outside as Indiana's shooting hot as of late in this one in the last couple minutes. They're 3 for 8 right now from 3-point range, 6 for 14 shooting. So now the ball's in the hands of Boudreaux. Top of the key to Carson Edwards, trying to drive inside and try to lay it in. And he does in the net as Carson Edwards adds 2 more to his game points today. 17-15, Purdue up by 2. Trying to push the ball across the court. Oh, nice lay-in right there by number 10, Rob Finney, who gets it off the backboard up and in. Looks like the foul was called, as well as Finney took it past 2 defenders. And it looks like he'll go to the line as well, as Indiana really pushed the ball up the court as Rob Finney dribbled in between the Purdue defense and laid it in up the backboard. So the freshman from Lafayette, Indiana from the line. Yes, and he hits it. Right there, Rob Finney, as Indiana takes their first lead of the game. 18-17 Hoosiers. Purdue now with the ball. Eric Hunter Jr. takes it past the timeline, passes off to Edwards. Passing around the outside now, Hunter. And throws it to corner. 3 from the left and is short of the rim. Looks like Grady Eifert took that one for Purdue. Short of the rim. Indiana gets the rebound now. Passing around the outside at the right wing to the top of the key. This is Rob Finney, who just scored a basket to the left wing now. This is Durham. Passes it off and trying to drive inside. Mozzie Anderson can't get it to fall as the ball's battled for and rebounded by Boudreaux of Purdue. And now Carson Edwards trying to take it into the key and whoopsie with that one as the ball just goes way in the air into the corner of Mackey Arena towards the cheerleaders and goes out of bounds. Right there. Looks like Edwards was trying to go inside. He got fouled as well on that one. So Carson Edwards will go to the line. 85.9% shooting from the line, and he hits his first to tie it up at 18. So we look at team fouls so far. Indiana has 5 fouls as a team. Purdue has 4. Carson Edwards hit his first from the line. He'll get his second in a couple seconds. Tie game 18-18, Indiana and Purdue for the Battle of Indiana. Edwards hits both. 8:10 remaining. Purdue takes back the lead. Carson Edwards with 2 big free throws to take back the lead for the Boilermakers as he subs out of the game now as Indiana with the ball in the inbounds. Justin Smith with it now. And into the game for Indiana's Clifton Moore. He's wide open at the top of the key, but he won't take the shot. Passing around the perimeter now, Moore trying to back his way in the key. And the shot falls off the mark as it was short of the rim. Purdue has the rebound. This is Eric Hunter Jr. now with it from the outside, top of the key. And now trying to dribble inside with a burst of speed. We got ourselves a foul on the play. Matt Harms goes down for Purdue with 7:42 left in the first. And we'll be back in just a second. We got ourselves a timeout on the floor. What a game so far. 19 Purdue, 18 Indiana with 7:42 left in the first. Don't change the dial, folks. This has been a good one. The Battle of the Indiana here as you're listening to Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. And remember, don't forget to like the video and hit that big red subscribe button down below. So yeah, I'm just going to dig into a couple of these team stats right here also and see what's going on for both of the teams so far. So, oh, wow. So even Steven, both of the teams are with shooting percentage from the floor, 43.8%. Indiana and Purdue shooting 7 for 16 right now as we're on commercial break with the Battle of Indiana between Indiana and Purdue. From the three-point line, Indiana started out cold, but now they've hit 3 shots from behind the arc, leading them to a 37.5 shooting percentage from three-point range right now as Purdue is shooting 1 for 5 from behind the arc. free throws for Purdue. They've hit on all of them, same as Indiana. However, Purdue's completed 4 of 4 from there, as Indiana's converted on only 1 free throw. Rebounds, Purdue's up in that category 10-7. And turnovers, both of the teams are equal as well, 3-3 so far, as we still got a while left, as we're just past the halfway mark in the first half of Indiana-Purdue, as Indiana took their first lead of the game a couple minutes ago, and then Purdue took it right back as Carson Edwards was sent to the free throw line, and he hit them both. As we look at the team leaders right now for both of the teams, Indiana that would be Justin Smith, the sophomore from Buffalo Grove, Illinois. He averages 8.3 points per game. Looks like he already has 9 points in this one. He's 4 for 4 shooting, so he's hit everything so far today. He also has 2 rebounds. For Purdue, yeah, they've had a lot of contributors to the scoring here. Carson Edwards, the notable contributor, scoring 8 so far. Hasn't hit a three-pointer yet, but he's 3 for 6 from the field. He also has an assist and 2 rebounds as well. As Grady Eifert is second in points scored right now with 3, and then Travion Williams, Ryan Klein, Nojel Eastern, and Matt Harms, they all have 2 points for Purdue. As we look at other games going inside the top 25 right now, Tennessee ranked 3rd right now in the AP top 25, still holding on to a 30-19 lead with 5:23 left in the first. Ole Miss is up by 13, trying to close out that game against Arkansas. As we're back here in Purdue as Matt Harms gets the ball. So welcome back, everyone, to West Lafayette, Indiana, as I'm calling this game. And now at the top of the key, throws it back to the left wing. Matt Harms throws it off to Ryan Klein right there, who dribbles the ball and loses control of it out of bounds, and it's a turnover going back to the Hoosiers. So Indiana will have it past the timeline. And this is Romeo Langford, who's back in the game for the Hoosiers. Oh, beautiful pass inside, but couldn't control it. Was Devontae Green of Indiana, who fumbles the ball inside the paint and turns it over himself. So last 2 possessions have gone turnover and turnover. 1 for Purdue, 1 for Indiana. So it looks like Sasha Stefanovic subs out and is on the bench right now for Purdue. Edwards in there. As now we got Matt Harms at the top of the key as he hands the ball off to Eastern. Eastern now dribbling back towards the Purdue logo. And beautiful pass inside to Carson Edwards. Oh, rejected. Jawan Morgan with a huge block inside for Indiana. And it's going the other way. Indiana has the ball now. Zach McRoberts as he passes it to Langford in the hands of Morgan. Morgan at the right wing and now trying to dribble inside baseline. Morgan lays it underneath, up and in off the glass. Indiana takes the lead back, 20-19 Hoosiers. Carson Edwards with the ball past the timeline. Hands it off to Eastern. 6:20 left in the first. Nojel Eastern towards the Purdue logo now at the top of the key. Feeds the ball off. This is Ryan Klein, who now hands it off inside to Matt Harms. Oh, beautiful pass to Nojel Eastern. Matt Harms with a feed and a key to Eastern, who hits it inside off the glass, as that ball past the timeline right there for Indiana was almost stolen by Carson Edwards. But they have it. Top of the key, this is Jawan Morgan, who passes it off to Romeo Langford. Both of those guys, high scorers right there. Gets the bucket to fall inside and was fouled as well as Jawan Morgan. So we'll go to the line. Beautiful pass right there. I think it was Devontae Green who led the pass to Morgan. But yeah, Morgan has had the last 2 buckets for Indiana. Yeah, that pass went inside. So Morgan from the line and goes off the top of the rim. No good. Rebounded by Purdue. This is Carson Edwards. Past the right side of the timeline. Edwards dribbling. Oh, deep three. That looked like a jimmer for that three, but he missed it. Rebounded by the Hoosiers. He took that all the way from the tee on the Keedy Court signage out there. Way in the deep of the right wing of Mackey Arena. Indiana with the ball now. Trying to dribble inside. Jawan Morgan backs down. And he hits it off the glass in the key. Another big basket for Morgan. Indiana has their biggest lead of the game, 24-21. Taken past the timeline by Eastern. We got 5:10 left in the first. Purdue was up by quite a bit, and now they're down by 3. As we look at the last 3 baskets by number 13, the senior forward, Jawan Morgan from Waynesville, Missouri. Leading the team in rebounds, second in the team for points per game on average. As we had a foul on the last play. So it looks like Indiana will go to the line, and it'll be Carson Edwards back there as he hits the first. Converts it on that one, 24-22, Purdue down by 2. Carson Edwards, his second one, he hits that as well. 24-23, Purdue only down by 1. Right now, Indiana just had their largest lead of the game. It was 3, as this has been back and forth for a little while. Around the 10-minute mark, try to feed the ball inside, and it's stolen. Try to look for the man inside. I think that was Devontae Green they were going for Indiana. Couldn't get it. Floater goes up and in from Nogel Eastern of Purdue. Lays it up there and gets it inside the key. So Purdue takes the lead back up 25-24. Indiana, the ball almost stolen as that pass was delivered out to Langford. Langford trying to dribble inside, is taken away. Carson Edwards has it with numbers. Oh, what a beautiful pass by Edwards. And Aaron Wheeler with a slam dunk for Purdue. And the fans are loving it here in West Lafayette. 27-24, the Boilermakers up by 3 right now on the stolen ball. Carson Edwards going the other way in the 2-on-1. Feeds it off to Aaron Wheeler in the slam jam for the Boilermakers. Puts them going up as we got ourselves a timeout on the floor. 27-24. Purdue is up right now with 4:26 left in the first. You're listening to Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube, and remember to hit that like button and subscribe. So yeah, I just want to dig into both of these teams' stats. Okay, so yeah, 3-point shooting, that's what's helped Indiana still be in this game, is they're shooting 3 for 8 right now from 3. Purdue's only shooting 1 for 6 from behind the arc. The free throws, yeah, Indiana has only had 2 attempts, 1 for 2 so far. Purdue shooting 6 for 6 from the free throw line. Field goal percentage, and now Indiana showing you why they're the number 3 team in the nation, shooting the ball from the floor. They average, I think, like just over 50% per game shooting from the floor, and right now they have a 52.6 shooting percentage on their shots, as Purdue from the floor shooting is 47.6 right now. Anything else kind of stick out right here as I'm looking at the stats? The rebounds, Purdue's out rebounding Indiana 12-9. Should look at team leaders here. Jawan Morgan getting things done for Indiana. He has 9 points. Justin Smith also with 9 as well for the Hoosiers. 0 bench points so far. 6 points by Rob Finney of Indiana. As we turn to the Purdue Boilermakers, Carson Edwards, he has 10 points. The team leader right now in scoring, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. He hasn't converted on a three-pointer just yet, 0 for 3 there, but he is shooting 3 for 7 right now from the floor, as he has 2 assists, 2 defensive rebounds, and also 2 rebounds total. So that would be those 2 defensive rebounds right now. As we look at some of the other players for Purdue, Nogel Eastern right now, second in scoring for Purdue with 6 points. And Travion Williams also has a block right now. For the Boilermakers, they have 4 bench points with Aaron Wheeler and Matt Harms, as it looks like we're back on the screen right here, right after the timeout at West Lafayette, Indiana. As the Indiana Hoosiers, losers of their last 3, they're trying to get the W here so they don't drop and have this be a 4th loss in a row, as they've lost 3 games in a row to Michigan, Maryland, and Nebraska. As that one's dribbled past the timeline by Devontae Green, and it's a kicked ball called by the refs. So Indiana will get the inbound. It's Devontae Green with it. Now passes it off. It's to Juwan Morgan, who kicks it back outside, and no good from the right corner, and tried to get, it was the offensive board by Morgan, but he was stripped in the lane, and now Purdue has it. Aaron Wheeler passes it off. Now Eastern has it in the hands of Carson Edwards. Throws it out wide, and no good by Wheeler from his corner, from the left corner, deep 3, and rebounded by the Hoosiers. It's taken past the timeline by Devontae Green. 3:42 left in the first. Indiana down by 3. Green with the ball. Green trying to go inside between a group of black jerseys, and he hits it. I don't know how he got that one off the glass, but that was a beautiful touch he put on there to fake out the Purdue defenders and put it in off the backboard, up and in. 27-26, Purdue up by 1. As we got passing around the perimeter, Stefanovic back in the game now with the left wing. Passes it off to the left corner. Now in the hands of Carson Edwards. Deep 3 from the left wing. No good. Rebounded by Indiana. It's Aljami Durham who takes control of the rebound. Durham feeds the ball into Morgan now. Morgan lobs it cross court the other way, and it's off the mark, however, on the 3-pointer, but rebounded on the offensive boards by Morgan, and he gets fouled, and it'll go to the line. Juwan Morgan with 9 points, and he's looking for his 10th, as he'll go to the line with 2:52 left in the first here at the Mackey Arena at Purdue University. Juwan Morgan, the 6'8" senior, misses the first. This Big Ten matchup. Indiana coming in to this game with a 12-5 record, 3-3 in the Big Ten. Purdue coming into this game with an 11-6 record, 4-2 in the Big Ten. As here's Morgan, missed his first from the free throw line. Here's his second to try to tie it up at 27, and he misses it. Rebounded by Matt Harms of Purdue. 2:46 left in the first. And past the timeline is Nogel Eastern at the Purdue logo. Now he gets that ball off to Matt Harms at the top of the key, passes it to Carson Edwards. Edwards trying to drive inside, passes it there, and lays it up and in, and it's good. Carson Edwards with the assist, and Purdue with another one down low off the backboard in the put-in. 29-26, Boilermakers up by 3. Indiana now has the ball at the top of the key. That is Zach McRoberts, who hands it off, and now back to McRoberts, who passes it off to Smith. Devontae Green in the hands, feeds it down low, couldn't get it to fall. Too strong off the bucket was Justin Smith for Indiana. Rebounded going the other way. It's Nogel Eastern with it. Eastern at the top of the key, feeding it inside to an open Matt Harms, and he slams it down for the Boilermakers up by 5. 31-26. What a beautiful play right there on the feed going inside, and Matt Harms, the big man, 7'2", the sophomore from the Netherlands, laid it down. As now we're going the other way. Indiana tried to drive inside. Purdue couldn't get it as Carson Edwards just got rejected by the bottom of the backboard. Indiana now has it, trying to speed up the tempo. And it looks like we get a foul called as Justin Smith tried to go inside with it and shoot it up. As we look at the last basket by Purdue, Carson Edwards dribbling with a defender on him. Passed it to Nogel Eastern. That was the one before the big basket. And then this is the last one. Nogel Eastern dribbling at the top of the key with a defender on him. And a big pass inside to a wide open Matt Harms, who slams it down for the Boilermakers. So we got Indiana from the line misses its first in the one right there. So 31-26 as Purdue gets the ball back is Nogel Eastern. Eastern now trying to drive. Oh, nasty move with the ball as he reversed his hands with it, and he gets it to fall. Nogel Eastern puts it off the top of the rim, and it gets the friendly roll as he can control that ball as well as he dribbled past the defender with a nice move, and he was fouled as well on that one. So he'll go to the line for one. 33-26, Purdue is up. Here's the shot, goes off the rim and no. Rebounded by Zach McRoberts of Indiana. A minute left in the first. Past the timeline is the Hoosiers. Now to the top of the key. Dayron Davis is in the game, and he passes off to Devontae Green. A lot of passing now. Trying to back his way inside is Davis. Davis tied up with the ball with Harms. And Davis is frustrated with that. Matt Harms loves it on the tied up ball there. Fought for by Davis and Harms inside the key. And it looks like it's the man from Amsterdam who ties him up. And the inbounds goes back to the Hoosiers, however. As they couldn't get anything out of it. Indiana forgot that there was a shot clock going on, and there's a shot clock violation as they could not get a shot off as the ball was lobbed inside. And he couldn't get it to fall. 33-26, Purdue. Up by 7. As Carson Edwards has the ball in his hands. And now it goes back out, and top of the key three. No good off the mark, and rebounded by Purdue. No good. And going the other way for is Indiana. We got 10 seconds left. Indiana down by 7, trying to make their last play before the half. As I'll go into halftime. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to Behind the Arc Basketball. We're just getting started. Ball goes off the mark, and looks like that's the halftime. So that's it for the half right now. 33-26, Purdue up by 7 at the half against the Indiana Hoosiers. And thank you all for joining us right now. You're listening to Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. Remember, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and definitely thank you for watching the video right now. It's great to have people along if we have anything going on. But yeah, thank you all for liking the video and everything, and thank you all for tuning in. So we'll get back after the half. As yeah, I don't have any money right now. Sorry about that. Don't have that. But it was a nice try. But yeah, now we're at halftime, so a little bit of a rundown of what's going on in college basketball today. If you want to talk about any college basketball here, just let me know. Anything would definitely be accepted, especially Virginia Duke today. It's going to be a huge game. Zion Williamson, hands down, one of the best players right now in all college basketball. Going up against the undefeated Virginia Cavaliers. They're the only team that's undefeated right now is Virginia. So I got to post in the halftime report right here. Nothing much, dude. I can't do that. I'm sorry. What school you go to, though? But yeah, man, thanks for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. Definitely. Thanks for tuning in. Where's that? There's tons of schools named Central. Oh, wow. Oh, Ohio, I'm guessing. There's a good amount of Indiana. Okay, yeah. But yeah, I love a lot of college hoops, so I'm streaming this game. I'm going to be streaming the ACC 1-against-1 matchup later on. It's going to be a big one. Duke, Virginia. Got a bunch of streams as I just started up the channel yesterday, hopefully building subscribers all the way into the March Madness tournament. And yeah, how about that winter storm over there in Indiana? Has that been like bad or anything? 26-33. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not from around Indiana. I'm streaming like a bunch of games of different teams throughout the course of the season. Like I did Oregon versus Arizona the other night, but I live all the way across like the other part of the country. I'm from New England. So yeah, we're supposed to be getting like a deep freeze tomorrow with like 5-degree temperatures over here. It's gonna be ridiculous. With like tons of snow. Crazy. Like it's supposed to be like blizzard conditions, like 6 to 12 inches, like snow to freezing rain, back to snow, and then to like ice, and then it's supposed to ice up overnight on Monday. It's gonna be crazy. Let's get into some of these players, some of these stats right now that I have for you guys. Looks like Purdue with their top scores. Yeah, it's just halftime right now. Purdue's up by 7 at the half, 33-26. Pretty good game that went on earlier. Indiana took the lead a couple of times, and then Purdue towards the end of the half took control of it away. But yeah, Carson Edwards is like an incredible player for Purdue. I think he's like 4th in the nation. I like a bunch of teams, and in a lot of these games that I call, I'm basically like neutral with a lot of these teams. But yeah, I grew up in New England. I'm a big fan of, I'd say, Providence Friars, Rhode Island Rams, since I'm from this area, Boston College Eagles. So yeah, those teams since I'm from like the New England region. But yeah, I follow all types of college basketball. But yeah, New England basketball is like nothing compared to like Big Ten, ACC, SEC. Pac-12 hasn't been that great at all this season. They don't even have like a ranked team inside the top 25 in the Pac-12, and then Arizona lost the other night. So yeah, so it looks like in this game we got 2 players right now for Purdue with already 10 points at the half. That's Carson Edwards and Nogel Eastern. As we look at the Indiana stuff, Jawan Morgan has 9 points. Justin Smith has 9 points as well. Look at some of the stats here for both of the teams. Oh, wow. So field goal percentage early in the game. So shooting from the field, Indiana, right before the half, I think it was like 5 minutes before the half, they were shooting like 53% from the field. That's dropped to now 44%. Indiana coming in, they're coming in hot shooting the ball as they're like, I think 3rd in the nation with shooting percentage, averaging just above 50 points, 50% shots made from the field. And Purdue, so both of them are equal right now. 44% for Indiana shooting from the field. Purdue's 44.8% from the field. Other than that, yeah, so turnovers is one thing that Indiana hasn't done that well. They've turned over the ball 8 times right now. Purdue's turned it over 4 times so far. The rebounds, Purdue leading in the rebound category, 18-16. Defensive rebounds, it's 13-12 Purdue, and the offensive boards, Purdue winning that one 5-4. And thank you all for joining us as you're tuning into Behind the Arc Basketball. Remember to hit that big red subscribe button down below, like our videos, and I just got started. My first video was a live stream a couple of nights ago. It was Oregon against Arizona. That game came down to the wire. I think Arizona won by 5. Or no, Oregon won by 5 against Arizona, and it was at Tucson that Arizona lost at their home court. See what else is going on here. I'm just going to check the top 25 scoreboard. So, big game tonight. Virginia against Duke. We'll see what happens there, as it's a battle for the 1-against-1 undefeated Virginia Cavaliers going up against the Duke Blue Devils. Earlier action, the other team that was undefeated, Michigan Wolverines, they lost 64-54. So they're no longer undefeated, as Wisconsin beat them by 10 at Madison. North Carolina, their game finished up earlier as they won 85-76. Ole Miss continuing that top 25 run as they won 84-67. Tennessee just keeps on rolling, up by 12 right now at the half, 44-32 against Alabama. And we got a shocker actually out in the Big 12, as we just started the second half, but Kansas was tied at the half 23-23 against West Virginia. Okay, so they were just down 28-25 to West Virginia. Looks like a 3-point jumper was made by Devin Dotson of the Jayhawks to tie it up at 28. Right now, as we're at the half with Purdue and Indiana. We'll get back in a little bit after halftime. North Carolina State up right now against Notre Dame, 37-35. That's another ACC game. That one is at South Bend. And the other Indiana game is at the half right now, the one that I'm doing play-by-play and live reactions for, Indiana, Purdue. It's 33-26 Purdue at the half. So we got more games later today with top 25 action. Virginia Tech is going to tip off about an hour from now. They'll host Wake Forest. Wake Forest is even at 500 overall, 8-8, 1-3 in the ACC. Virginia Tech ranked 9th right now coming into this game, 14-2 and 3-1 in ACC play, trying to make a comeback after that really devastating loss earlier in the week to undefeated Virginia. Just absolutely got blown out there. North Carolina made their mark earlier today. Last Saturday, they got demolished against Louisville. They come back and they win today against Miami. So we look at other top 25 games. A big one at 4 o'clock as well. Kentucky going up against Auburn. And then the game that I'll be streaming later tonight will be Virginia against Duke. Number 1 in the coaches poll, the Virginia Cavaliers, still undefeated, the only undefeated team left as of right now because Michigan lost, going up against the number 1 Duke Blue Devils, who is #1 in the AP Top 25. We'll see how Duke responds in that one with the Trey Jones injury. I haven't even checked the status. I should see if Trey Jones is supposed to be playing today or not. They said like doubtful, but everybody was surprised that Trey Jones was gonna be. He's possibly could be back soon, as he separated an AC joint against Syracuse. It looked real bad when it first happened, but I don't think that he's going to be playing today. But they said that he might not be out for too long, so be interested if Trey Jones comes back maybe next week for the Duke Blue Devils. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, it looks like a bunch of top 25 games today on this basketball Saturday. Gonzaga, of course, they're out in the West Coast, in the West Coast Conference, and they'll host the Portland Pilots later tonight, as I think like everybody, Gonzaga on the line is a 27-point favorite in that. Yeah, those West Coast games start late because they're on like Pacific time out there, Mountain time. Nevada and the Wolfpack, they only have one loss, as they were undefeated until they lost their first game against New Mexico at New Mexico. They play as they host Air Force later tonight. Also, another one of those undefeated teams, the Houston Cougars, who they were undefeated until 2 weeks ago. They lost to, it was Temple, I think, at Philadelphia. They lost to Temple. So Houston 17-1. They're at South Florida today for that American Conference matchup. Texas Tech trying to come back after they lost by 4 the other night to Iowa State. They play away at Baylor and Waco at 6 o'clock tonight. And yeah, it looks like we're still at halftime here with Indiana Purdue coming back in a little bit. As far as it looks, definitely going to look into streaming some more games throughout the season and this week, as I think we got a big one on Monday that I should be streaming, hopefully, unless, because I know we have the snowstorm, big snowstorm this weekend. So yeah, if we lose power, it's not going to be possible for me to stream that game. But yeah, I know that Virginia Tech, they play against North Carolina this weekend. Monday. That game's on Monday night I think at 7. So if I can, I might cover that one if I don't lose power. But we'll see. As we're at the half here with Purdue and Indiana. Purdue is up 33-26. So the top team right now in the Big Ten is Michigan State, after Michigan lost earlier today. And Maryland is second in Big Ten play right now, since Maryland has an additional win over Michigan. So Maryland in conference play is 7-1. Michigan fall is now 6-1. So they fell to 6-1 today. They were 6-0 until Wisconsin upset them earlier today. It looks like we're back at the second half now for Purdue and Indiana, almost ready to get back here at the Mackey Center, as I'm doing play-by-play here on Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. And just remember, feel free to like the channel. You can feel free to message me in the chat as you like. Talk some basketball, talk about sports, some big NFL games tomorrow as well. Here, Rams Saints, Chiefs Pats. It was supposed to be like record cold in Kansas City for Sunday, but however, that storm is passing through the Midwest, and now it's going to be moving on into the Northeast tomorrow. So yeah, a lot of like record temperature drops or so up here towards like the New England area, I'd say. As we look at the key players to watch and very surprising stat is Romeo Langford, who is one of the key players that I talked about coming in to this game today for Indiana. He still has not scored so far. He's turned the ball over 3 times, and he has 2 fouls on him. On the other side, Carson Edwards is having quite the game so far for Purdue. He's averaging 24.9 points per game. Good for first in the Big Ten and 4th in college basketball. He has 10 points so far. Purdue gets the inbounds pass, up by 7 now. Deep 3 from the left wing, no good by Grady Eifert, and rebounded by the Hoosiers. So taking it past the timelines, Rob Finney, he hit the buzzer beater when they beat Butler earlier this season in December. And now taking it past the 3-point line, dribbling inside, now going baseline as it's stolen as the feed inside to outside the baseline, stolen away. Nojel Eastern trying to drive with the offensive putback off the glass for Purdue, and it's up and in. A 9-point lead as Grady Eifert gets the shot off the rim, put up by Nojel Eastern, who is trying to drive on a one-on-one. Eifert gets the offensive board and lays it in off the glass. 35-26 Purdue. As Indiana drives and left-handed layup goes down for Romeo Langford for the Hoosiers. As he just dribbled past Travion Williams, Williams picks up the foul as well. Langford will go to the line for 1. As Travion Williams, number 50 for the Boilermakers, picks up his 3rd foul of the game as he now sits on the bench. Romeo Langford finally gets a basket, now to the line, and he misses. Rebounded by Nojel Eastern of Purdue. He takes it past the timeline. Eastern now at the top of the key, hands it off to Ryan Klein, and now it's in the hands of Carson Edwards. Throws it back to Matt Harms, and hands it off to Edwards. Top of the key 3, Carson Edwards delivers and hits the shot as Purdue extends their lead to 10. It's 38-28. Indiana with the ball now at the Purdue logo. As it's Rob Finney now at the free throw line, kicks it back out outside. And now to the right corner, and now dribbling outside, throws it all the way across the court outside, no good for the 3-pointer, and it's controlled by Purdue and Carson Edwards. Taking it up the other way past the right side of the timeline, Edwards loses control of the ball for Purdue, but it'll get it back. Looks like it was last touched by Zach McRoberts of Indiana. So with 18:08 left in the second, Purdue is up by 10, 38-28. We get the inbounds. Matt Harms has it at the right wing. Throws it back, and it's almost swatted away by Indiana. However, Ryan Klein controls it. And now passing around the perimeter, Ryan Klein deep 3 feet away. Oh, he hits it as Ryan Klein from the outside, number 14, the senior from Carmel, Indiana, hits the 3, and Purdue has their biggest lead of the game, 41-28. Indiana has the ball. It's Romeo Langford, who gets the ball away to Juwan Morgan. And now it's to Rob Finney. 4-3 from the outside, and an offensive board by Morgan, who controls it back for Indiana. So they got a new shot clock up there. Romeo Langford kicks it back outside. Justin Smith gets it now in the hands of Rob Finney at the top of the key. Throws it off to Zach McRoberts, and McRoberts dumps it off to Justin Smith. Finney passing it to Romeo Langford. Couldn't get it airballed. It rebounded inside, and it gets laid in. Juwan Morgan gets the air ball by Romeo Langford himself, and with a little bit of offensive help, he gets it off the glass and in. Purdue up 41-30 in the hands of Carson Edwards. Oh, stop and pop for 3. Couldn't hit the jumper. Matt Harms tries to control it. Couldn't get it. Indiana with the ball now. And now trying to take it at the free throw line and backs it out outside. It's Rob Finney, who now almost looked like a travel there. But Indiana controls it. Baseline pass, Juwan Morgan to Justin Smith, who slams it home. I could not believe that when they lobbed the ball inside to Justin Smith for Indiana, it looked like He took 3 steps. Refs didn't call it. He was able to sneak that pass down the opposite side of the baseline. And then the slam jam for the Hoosiers. And a 3-ball in transition for the Boilermakers. Another 3 by Ryan Klein. 44-32. As Indiana has the ball past the timeline. It's Romeo Langford with it at the Purdue P. And now at the left wing, it's Juwan Morgan with it with 15:44 left. And back to Langford. Langford kicks it outside. Right corner 3, no good as there's a battle for it down low. Who's got the ball? There's a red jersey. There's a group of black jerseys as we get ourselves a tie up here for the ball. I think it will go back to Indiana. As we look at Ryan Klein, last 2 3-pointers, he's hit them. So we got ourselves a timeout on the floor. You're listening to Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube with 15:37 left in the second of this one. Purdue is up 44-32. And remember to hit that big red subscribe button down below and to like my video. So Purdue's up by 12 right now. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, Ryan Klein really delivered. So 3-point shooting right now. Ryan Klein is 2 for 2 from behind the arc. As he just, at the end of the half, he only had 2 points, and he just hit 2 back-to-back 3-pointers. So now he has 8. Carson Edwards with 13 points. Looks like he has 3 assists, 3 rebounds. Shooting from the field, 4 for 11. Nogel Eastern has 10. We look at the Boilermakers for bench points. Matt Harms has 4. Aaron Wheeler has 2 for Purdue. Let's look at the Hoosiers shooters here, as Juwan Morgan and Justin Smith are tied for the team lead in points right now, both with 11 for Indiana. Yeah, Juwan Morgan has 2 blocks as well. We got to look at foul trouble as well, as that's the reason why Romeo Langford has 2 points, as he has 2 fouls on him as well. He's turned over the ball 3 times as well so far in this game. Romeo Langford held to 2 points right now. He averages 18.8 points per game. That is good for 4th in the Big Ten for points per game. But the other side, the guy who's showing you why he leads the Big Ten in points per game, that is Carson Edwards of Purdue. And he's 4th right now in college basketball, averaging 24.9 points per game, 1st in the conference. And he's doing it today as he has a team lead 13 right now, as we still have 15:37 left in the second. As we look to the records of both of these teams, Indiana right now with a 12-5 record, 3-3 in the Big Ten. In away games this season, they're 1-4 in away games this season. Trying to beat Purdue's 8-0 at home. Purdue's 11-6 overall, 4-2 in the Big Ten. Looks like we're back to action here. Ryan Klein has hit 2 back-to-back 3-pointers for Purdue, as they're up by 12, 44-32. So we'll get back to action. 15:37 left in the second. As Indiana will inbound it. And welcome to Behind the Arc Basketball. And feel free to like the video and subscribe to my channel, as well as I'll be keeping you up to date with a bunch of college basketball games throughout the season. I got Virginia against Duke, the battle of the 1-1s tonight, and Indiana with the inbounds. And They put it in the hoop right there. That's Romeo Langford, who gets his 4th point of the game. As right there, he faked down Matt Harms, dribble baseline, and he lays it in off the glass, and he gets fouled as well. So Romeo Langford will go to the line for 1. And the ball rims out, rebounded by Nogel Eastern of Purdue. So if you're joining us, Purdue in the Boilermakers playing at their home court in West Lafayette, Indiana, they're up by 10 right now, 44-34 in the hands of Matt Harms. Matt Harms all alone, and he slams it down. Oh, man, they left him all alone. Couldn't man up on Matt Harms, and the big man, 7'2", all of him from the Netherlands, puts in the two-handed jam for the Boilermakers, now up by 12. Indiana now with the ball. It's Devontae Green at the right wing. Guarded by Harms, and it's stolen away by Carson Edwards of Purdue. Carson Edwards, two men to beat, and he couldn't get it. Floated it off the bottom of the backboard, and it goes back into the hands of Indiana. Devontae Green kicks it back outside, and it's airballed by Romeo Langford and controlled by Purdue. So now slowing down the tempo is Carson Edwards with 14:27 left in the second. The ball's in his hands. Edwards. Oh, he hits the 3. Carson Edwards with the biggest lead of the game for the Boilermakers, 49-34 with 14:17 left in the second. Timeout called by Archie Miller in Indiana. Carson Edwards now on the sidelines with a standing ovation, dapping up his teammates, hit a clutch 3 from the top of the key, just faked out the Indiana defender on the dribble and swoosh, banged it down. We got ourselves a ball game here as Purdue is taking control of this one, 49-34 with 14:17 left in the second. You have been watching Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube, and just remember, feel free to interact with me in the chats. We can talk about college hoops. We can talk about NFL. Great games tomorrow. If you say Rams Saints, Pats Chiefs, who you got, let me know. And also, definitely feel free to hit that like button and that big red subscribe button down below as you've been watching this Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. And I'll update you now we're at commercial break at what's going on. So I'm typing it in. Indiana has 34. Purdue has 49. And I should also put, let's see. So 14:17 left in the second. Should put in parentheses, largest lead for Purdue so far. So I'm just going to make note of this for myself because I was watching the game. It was West Virginia against Kansas State 2 weeks ago. Kansas State was at home down by 21, and they came back and won that game. So yeah, comebacks can happen at any time throughout the college basketball season. I've seen it in March Madness too. I think it was a couple years ago in the tournament. It was Texas A&M against Northern Iowa. I think it was like a 12-point lead that I think one of the teams had. I think it was Northern Iowa who had that 12-point lead, and then the Aggies came back, and it was like a 12-point lead in like 48 seconds, and Texas A&M came back, forced overtime, and won the game. So yeah, that was absolutely crazy. What else was there? Oh, there was the Oregon-Arizona game. Or no, Oregon against UCLA the week before, where Oregon was up at home by 9 points. UCLA comes back with 1:01 left. They're down by 9. Oregon follows UCLA when UCLA is down 80-77 with 2.8 seconds left. So UCLA goes to the line to shoot their free throws. They hit their first, so it's 80-78. They miss their second one because they have to purposely miss their second one so they can get the offensive rebound and put it back. And that's what they did, is Chris Smith got the offensive rebound for UCLA. Oregon forgot to box out as Smith put it up off the glass and into the bucket at the buzzer. And then UCLA in overtime, they took control of that game and they won. As it looks like we're back here at West Lafayette, Indiana, as Purdue has their largest lead of the game so far, 49-34. Indiana just got the inbound pass. As now they're passing it around the outside in the perimeter. It's Rob Finney feeds the ball outside, and now it's Justin Smith who tried to lay in the floater, and he does off the glass. So that one goes down for the Hoosiers, but the refs will call it no good, and looks like instead it'll be an offensive foul by Indiana, so the basket will not count as the charge was taken by Purdue. Smart charge in the paint right there, and Purdue will get the ball back up by 15, 49-34 with 13:50 left in the second. Now at the top of the three, Grady Eifert. Oh, and the big man slams it home for Purdue. Matt Harms got the ball fed inside for the Boilermakers and extending now lead 51-34. Another two-handed slam by the man from the Netherlands. As Indiana's in trouble as they feed the ball inside and finally off the glass is Jawan Morgan and puts it up and in. 51-36. Past the timeline. Purdue has the ball in the hands of Matt Harms, who has the past two shots he's made have been slam dunks with two-handed jams as the ball goes around the perimeter. Fadeaway three from the top of the key. No good, but the offensive board by Matt Harms, but it looks like he was tied up for it with Indiana. Indiana will come away with the ball. Oh, but we look at it. It's on the replay right here. The beautiful pass by Grady Eifert into the screen down low to Matt Harms, who slips past the back of a Hoosier defender and with two hands slams it down. And that's what the 7'2 sophomore from Amsterdam in the Netherlands can do. As looks like Harms took a seat on the bench, but Purdue gets the inbounds pass. Carson Edwards with it. Feeds the ball inside to Travion Williams back from foul trouble. There's a lot of battling going for it inside as looks like the ball is tapped up and last touched out by Travion Williams, number 50 of Purdue. So Indiana will get the ball back on the turnover. 12:45 left in the second. Indiana with the ball. It's Romeo Langford. Romeo Langford lobs it over top of the key, and now they're pushing the ball outside, trying to drive inside, and stripped in the lane was Aljami Durham of Indiana, but looks like we have a reach and follow by Purdue. So if you're just joining us, you're tuning in to Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube, doing play-by-play and live reactions of college basketball games throughout the season. And it'd be wonderful to anybody out there to spread the message, to like the video, and also subscribe, as the first free throw was missed by the Hoosiers. Here's the second one from the line. Free throw shooting woes have continued. They finally hit their second of the game. That one goes in as 51-37. Indiana shooting 2 for 9 right now from the line. In the hands of Purdue. It's Eric Hunter Jr. passes it to the right wing. It's Travion Williams with it. Ryan Klein at the left wing. Feeds it outside. And outside three. Carson Edwards cannot deliver. Rimmed out. Rebounded by the Hoosiers. Taking control of it is Rob Finney. Rob Finney at the Purdue P logo. Dribbling to his left now in the left wing outside. Feeds it back to the left corner outside the arc. And dribbling now to the right. Passing over to the right. Justin Smith of Indiana with the ball. Smith almost walked with it. Hands it off to Finney. Finney deep three from the right wing. No good. He gets his offensive board though. Finney tried to hit it off the backboard, and he gets another offensive board. Rob Finney trying to do something with it, kicks it back into the key a little bit, and now trying to move the ball back into the key. Oh, floater is good. Aljami Durham puts it up and in for the Hoosiers. 51-39. We got 11:20 left in the second. Purdue up by 12. As Carson Edwards feeds it in to Travion Williams, now trying to back his way inside the low post. And he does. Travion Williams with a spin move, but looks like he gets the foul called on him as well. Shooting foul, hits the shot. He'll go to the line. We'll count the bucket. Shooting foul. That will be called on Deron Davis of Indiana. When we get back, it will be Travion Williams, the freshman forward from Chicago. Will be shooting one from the line. There's a TV timeout right now as you've been watching Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube, streaming live, play-by-play reaction of games throughout the season into the conference tournaments and March Madness tournaments for college basketball. And now I'm just going to update everyone on this game. So far, Purdue with 11:10 left in the first, up 53-39. So let's see. I'm digging into some stats here. Okay, so Indiana came into the game number 3 shooting in the country, converting on 50.9 of their shots from the field. Right now they're shooting 44.7 from the field. Purdue's shooting much better than Indiana right now, 48.8% from the field as we're at this TV timeout. And feel free as you're watching Behind the Arc Basketball to interact with me about anything about college basketball, anything else. We got some big NFL games this weekend as well with the Patriots Chiefs tomorrow in the AFC Championship and then the NFC Championship. Big one as well, as that was a shootout the first time they played in the regular season. Rams Saints at the Superdome tomorrow in the first game in the NFC Championship game. Let's see these stats between Indiana and Purdue. Turnovers have been a problem for the Hoosiers as they've turned the ball over 11 times. Purdue's only turned it over 5 times. Rebounds pretty much even. Indiana now ahead in the rebounding category, 25-24. Take a look at the top scorers for both of the teams. Carson Edwards delivering once again for the Boilermakers. 4th in NCAA basketball right now with average points per game with 24.9 average points per game. Carson Edwards is 1st in the Big Ten, and he has 16 right now for Purdue. As we welcome you into Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube, and feel free to like my videos, subscribe to my channel, and if you want, feel free to interact with me in the chat about anything college basketball. Got some big games this weekend for the NFL. I know I just saw the promo for the Daytona 500 NASCAR coming back, not too far away from that. I think it's like a month away as well. The Great American Race, the 61st ever Great American Race. I know we got some driver changes over in the offseason. Martin Truex Jr., who won the championship back in 2017, is taking over the number 19 car now, and I saw the paint scheme the other day. It looks absolutely sick with the Bass Pro Shops that he kept when he went from the 78 over to the 19. Looks like we're back here and almost back to play after the TV timeout here in West Lafayette, Indiana. If you're just joining us, Purdue is up 53-39 with 11:10 left in the second as the Boilermakers trying to extend their overall lead to make it to a 15-point game if they hit it. No, and it can't. And on the free throw, it looks like it's a rebound by Indiana. Controlled, and it's past the timeline for Jamie Durham now. Guarded by Edwards. Throws it back to the left wing. This is Zach McRoberts with it for the Hoosiers, and He lobs it off to Langford. Langford almost loses control of it. Guarded by a man, and it goes back to Langford. Kicks it out to the corner. Aljami Durham, who throws it out to Jawan Morgan. Deep three by Morgan from the top of the key. No good, and rebounded by Purdue's Travion Williams. Throws it into the hands of Carson Edwards. Has 16 already. Hit a step back three earlier. Three ball J, and it goes down for Purdue. Aaron Wheeler from the right wing behind the arc. And Purdue keeps on extending their lead. It's 56-39 with 10:20 left in the game. Indiana with the ball now. Trying to back his way inside is Jawan Morgan, the senior 40, stripped of the ball. Purdue looks like they fall on the ball. We'll see what the refs call. But Aaron Wheeler just a minute ago for the Boilermakers drained the three off the assist by Carson Edwards. Beautiful three-point shot by Wheeler. Edwards has 16, 5 assists to go with that, and 3 rebounds. The other guy that's been impressive so far as he checks back into the game for Purdue's Matt Harms. 8 points so far for Matt Harms. He had 2 two-handed slam dunks. Both of them he was just left alone inside the paint, and he throws it down the 7'2" sophomore from the Netherlands as Indiana gets the inbounds pass, trying to drive baseline as Langford can't get it. Kicked back out, and Purdue gets the rebound. It's now Purdue's driving. It's with Aaron Wheeler. Lobs it inside towards the left elbow, and trying to drive inside is Nogel Eastern. As looks like we have a reach-in foul committed by Aljami Durham of the Hoosiers. 9:54 left in the second. Purdue will inbound it. Looking for somebody who's open, finally finds him behind the arc. Here's Eastern with a spin move in the lane. Can't control as he turns it over, stripped, and Indiana gets it. So Romeo Langford hands it off to Jawan Morgan. Back to Langford. Langford dribbling to the left, and now deep 2 from the elbow, and it's rejected as Langford tried to get it in there as he's stripped in the lane, controlling the ball. And they'll call a foul on Purdue on the play. So Purdue right now is up 56-39. As we look at those Big Ten standings, Michigan State in control of the Big Ten after Michigan's loss. Matt Harms also off the court as he's gimpy. He fell down on that play trying to defend, and he's on the sideline right now out of the game for Purdue. $9:29 left in the second. Inbounds pass for Indiana. Indiana, Romeo Langford trying to slam it down. He gets rejected inside, and Purdue gets the ball back. The fans love that one on the block, trying to get down for the slam dunk. Romeo Langford, and he just got rejected by a Boilermaker who said no to that one. Purdue has it, trying to drive inside. Travion Williams. And no, he can't get the bucket to fall off the glass. We do have a foul on the play. Tried to go for the charge. Was Justin Smith of Indiana. And it looks like they'll call the defensive foul on Indiana. So 9 minutes left, 56-39. It was a shooting foul as well. So Travion Williams will go to the line for Purdue. Williams, and he gets the friendly roll to fall down, and they got themselves an 18-point lead now. As we look at the play before that, Romeo Langford trying to go off the glass inside and just got rejected by Purdue. Second free throw up, and it's good for Travion Williams, extending to a 19-point lead for Purdue. A 7-0 scoring run with 2 minutes and 18 seconds now on that 7-0 run. In the hands of Indiana, deep three from the left wing, and it goes down for Aaron Wheeler. trying to climb back in it with 8:40 left. Purdue now with it past the timeline. This is Nogel Eastern at the edge of the Purdue P, backing out and throwing it off to Aaron Wheeler. That ball looks like it gets thrown out of bounds by Purdue on the play. 58-42. Purdue's up against Indiana. But it was last touched by Indiana, so it goes back to Purdue. Has to get the inbounds. Now dribbling outside, Ryan Klein. He throws the ball, and it's intercepted. And going the other way with it, Jawan Morgan, who throws a baseline, saved by Justin Smith, but he puts it in the wrong hands of a Purdue defender, and now Purdue gets the ball back. Nogel Eastern throwing it out to the left corner. Aaron Wheeler tried to throw it inside to Travion Williams. Couldn't get it to connect there, and Indiana gets the ball back. With a burst of speed inside is Aljabi Durham, who then kicks it back outside. It's Rob Finney now, slowing down the tempo of the offense and looking for the play call. Finney trying to dribble inside, driving inside, and looks like he's fouled, and he'll go to the line for 2. For Indiana, when we get back, TV timeout called. Purdue up by 16, 58-42. Boilermakers here in West Lafayette. As you've been watching Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube, remember, feel free to like my videos, and don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button down below. Purdue is up 58-42. So we got Indiana with 42, Purdue with 58, 7:45 left in the second. We're at a TV timeout now, so thank you for joining us, everyone, and feel free to like my video, hit the subscribe button if you wish, and in the chat as well. If you feel free to chat and talk about anything from college basketball to even like football tomorrow. NFC, AFC title games should be some big games. Rams, Saints, Pats, Chiefs. Looking forward to that. As we look at the leading scorers right now for the Purdue Boilermakers, and another pretty good top-notch day for Carson Edwards, their star guard for the Boilermakers. He has 16 points right now, shooting 5 for 14 from the field. And second in points right now for Purdue is Nogel Eastern. He has 10. Look at what else is going on for Indiana. Leading scorers, Jawan Morgan, he has 13. Justin Smith has 11. Second on the team right now in points. And I'll dig into some of these team stats as well to see what's going on in this game. Field goal percentage. Indiana averages 50.9 points per game. 50.9% from the field, that is, with their shots. And right now they're below that, as shooting percentage from the field is 41.9. Purdue is even, 22 for 44, 50% right now shooting from the field on this timeout, with 7:45 left in the second. From the free throw line, almost everything seems to be going in for Purdue today, as they're shooting 80%. And from the line for Indiana, they're 2 for 9, which is good for 22.2%. As we look at some of the other college basketball games, I'll be covering Virginia against Duke, 1-1 today at 6 p.m. I'll have that for you guys. So feel free to subscribe to Behind the Arc Basketball and like our videos as well. And feel free to chat with us. And wow, so Tennessee against Alabama, number 3 Tennessee Volunteers, were up big time in the first half, and I just checked the score, 5:15 left to go in this game. Alabama has a 3-point lead on Tennessee. It was 15-1, 4 now in the SEC, and now Tennessee is losing, as we had an upset earlier today. Michigan Wolverines lost by 10, suffered their first loss of the season against the Wisconsin Badgers. So undefeated no more are the Wolverines. As looks like we're back to action here. Now for Indiana. As Rob Finney will go to the line. Finney with his shot from the line, and he gets it. So Purdue is up 58-43 as Rob Finney made that one from the line. And also, don't forget that Rob Finney hit the deep three from the top of the key at the buzzer for the game winner against Butler earlier in non-conference play for Indiana. As he makes both of them from the line and cuts the Purdue lead to 14. Purdue is up 58-44. 7:45 left in the second as it's in the hands of Purdue now. Past the timelines, Eric Hunter Jr. passes off to Travion Williams. Now back passing it around the outside. Carson Edwards at the right side behind the three-point arc. Trying to go inside, lobs into Travion Williams, driving baseline. Williams trying to back his way off the glass, and it goes down for Travion Williams for Purdue, number 50, the freshman forward from Chicago. As Indiana gets the inbounds back. Here's the Hoosiers with it, slowing down the tempo. Romeo Langford looking for the play call at the edge of the Purdue P. Stop and pop, and the jumper right towards the free throw circle. It doesn't go down, though. Rebounded by Purdue. Going up the other way. Eric Hunter Jr. now setting the offense for Purdue. Kicks it back outside to inside. Grady Eifert feeding it down to Travion Williams, who feeds it back down to Eifert. And Eifert gets it off the glass and in. So what a play. There is Travion Williams for Purdue on the last two plays. Has been big. He got the basket, the first one off the glass backing in, and then the second one with the assist just a moment ago to Grady Eifert. Grady Eifert got fouled on the play as well for Purdue. He'll go to the line, and he just missed the free throw. Purdue's up 62-44, 6:48 left. And Indiana trying to dribble baseline, reverse hand, lay it up, and it missed off the rim was Romeo Langford. And now Purdue controls it. Carson Edwards tries to drive inside as he gets rejected in the lane. The ball goes out of bounds, but Purdue will get it back. So if you're just joining us, the Purdue Boilermakers up by 18 right now, 62-44 as they're inbounding this one. And it's intercepted by Indiana, but Grady Eifert in perfect position for Purdue tried to take the charge. I don't believe they called it, though, as the inbounds by Purdue was intercepted by Justin Smith of Indiana. And so they'll call the charge was trying to be taken there by Eifert, but he couldn't get in position of it. So they'll charge Eifert with a foul for Purdue, and it will send Justin Smith to the line in his bonus, which he just missed it. So Purdue has 8 fouls as a team. Indiana has 6. Purdue just got the rebound, 62-44. So now we got passing outside, and Travion Williams has it at the right wing. Williams at the free throw line and passes it off towards the edge of the Purdue P's. Ryan Klein trying to dribble and feeds it back out. And now back to Ryan Klein for the fadeaway 3 from the left corner, and it doesn't go down as Indiana gets it back. Alley-oop, and it goes down for the Hoosiers. What a slam as Justin Smith with a two-handed slam. Alley-oops that one for Indiana. They're still down 62-46, but what a great lob pass over the top. And play design right there with a slam dunk by Indiana as Purdue has it. And it looks like we got an offensive foul set right there on the pick and roll. As we look at the play before the last basket by Indiana on the replay, lobbed over the top by Romeo Langford. And a two-handed slam alley-oop jam by Justin Smith of the Hoosiers. So the ball he just floated it right over the top right there. Carson Edwards, number 3 of Purdue, who is guarding. As now we're back to action. Indiana down 62-46. With the ball and trying to dribble into it's Romeo Langford. Looks like there's a baseline foul called by Purdue. So let's see. Looks like we're at a little bit of a stoppage in the game here as, yeah, so Carson Edwards still at 16 points. He's fourth right now overall in college basketball in points per game. Carson Edwards averages 24.9 points per game for Purdue. First free throw misses by Romeo Langford. And if you're just joining us to Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube, this game is Purdue up 62 to Indiana, who has 46, 5:26 left. Indiana missed the first shot at the free throw line with Romeo Langford. Here's the second one. Ooh, that one was a high arc that didn't have a chance off the front of the rim and rebounded by the Boilermakers. Feel free to like and subscribe to my channel and like the videos as well. I just started streaming live play-by-play and reactions of college basketball. I just started my first stream on Thursday. It was Arizona against Oregon, and I look to do much more throughout the season and into the March Madness tournament as there's a fight for the ball down in the key and turnover by Purdue. Indiana has it in the hands of Romeo Langford now, who goes outside and passing around the perimeter at the left perimeter. At the left wing, this is Rob Finnessy, who feeds the ball off to Langford now at the right wing behind the arc. Langford trying to drive baseline and lots of passing around the perimeter, deep two at the elbow, and it connects for Zach McRoberts. So put him on the board for his first 2 points of the game at 62-48. Purdue up by 14. Ball taken past the timeline by Nogel Eastern of Purdue. Passing around the perimeter, Ryan Klein has it at the top of the key. Throws it back in. Uncontested three, no good by Grady Eifert off the top of the rim. Rebounded by the Hoosiers. This is Indiana who has it. Zach McRoberts, who's passing it around the outside to Romeo Langford. Dribbling baseline, and Langford gets rejected. Into the hands of Matt Harms, who gets the ball back for Purdue. And now they take it past the timeline, slowing down the tempo. 3:42 left in the second. Deep three. Right wing. Carson Edwards, no good. Rebounded by Indiana. 62-48. Purdue up with 3:30 left. Ball fed inside the key. If Indiana wants to make something, they need to convert fast with their shots. Trying to go inside. And he's fouled. That's Jawan Morgan. Try to go inside. So when we get back after the TV timeout, Indiana will shoot two from the line. And the key to this game would be shooting from the field by Indiana, and that they have not done well with that. Coming into this game, they ranked third overall in the nation in shooting percentage, hitting 50.9 out of their shots today. They've struggled. They've only made 41.7 from the field for shooting percentage today. As we dig into some of these team stats and the college basketball scoreboard right now, Purdue shooting much better than Indiana. Purdue shooting 48% from the field to Indiana's 41.7. Three-point range as well. Purdue's shooting 28.6% from the field. Indiana's 21.1% from three-point range. Rebound department's pretty much even, 33-30. Purdue's winning that department by 3. Total turnovers now pretty even. Indiana had a lot of turnovers early. I think it was like 8 turnovers compared to like 4 earlier for Indiana, but now Indiana's turned the ball over 12 times. Purdue's turned it over 11 times. We'll look into the box score to see who is the top scorers right now for both teams. We'll start off with the team leading right now. The Purdue Boilermakers, still Carson Edwards, who leads college basketball in the Big Ten with points per game, and fourth in college basketball right now for points per game for his average points per game. He has 16 points right now. And second on Purdue would be Nogel Eastern with 10. And what sticks out here is that Eastern has a double-double right now. He has 10 points, 10 rebounds, and also to add to that, he has a steal, he has a block, and he has 2 assists to go along with that column as well. As we look to the other players on the Purdue list is Ryan Klein has 8 points and Travion Williams as well. And off the bench, Matt Harms has 8 points. For the Boilermakers and for the Indiana Hoosiers, tied with 13 points is 2 players right now. Jawan Morgan has 13 and Justin Smith has 13. Romeo Langford for Indiana, the freshman who leads the team in average points per game with 18.8, only has 4 points per game so far today. As we look to the upcoming schedule, for Indiana, they've lost 3 in a row, trying to bounce back. And as time's waning in this one, you never know, but the game just keeps on, time just keeps on ticking away. And if they need the shots to fall, they're down right now by 16. They really need to boost up that shooting percentage, as they've lost the past 3 at Michigan, at Maryland, and then Monday at home against Nebraska. So we look towards the next 2 games for the Indiana Hoosiers. They play Tuesday at 9 p.m. at Northwestern. They beat them earlier in the season, back in December, by 2 at their home court in Bloomington, Indiana. And then on Friday, Indiana's back home, 6:30 p.m., that one against Michigan, who just lost their first game today on the road in Madison against Wisconsin. First shot from the free throw line, and it's a miss. No good. Second one goes down for Jawan Morgan. We're back to action here in West Lafayette, 62-49. Purdue's up with 3:12 left. So now Matt Harms has it at the top of the key, gives it back to Carson Edwards, who feeds it to Matt Harms. He's left wide open underneath, and another slam dunk by the 7'2" man from Amsterdam, Matt Harms. 64-49 Purdue. As Indiana has it, tries to feed it inside, and it goes down. Nice pass right there, and it goes off the glass inside as the shot falls off the backboard by Justin Smith of the Hoosiers. Purdue has it. He tried to drive inside to Joe Eastern, who tried to hit the floater but couldn't get it to fall. Rebounded by Indiana. Going back the other way, they really need to push the tempo, hit some shots, hit some threes, and there's a 3-ball right wing, and it's short off the mark. And of course, Purdue will slow down that tempo with 2:10 left in this one, up 64-51. So Grady Eifert has it for Purdue, gets it to Matt Harms. Now to the hands of Carson Edwards at the right wing. Carson Edwards thought about taking a 3, feeds it inside to Harms, puts it in. Matt Harms has 12 now, 66-51. Indiana with 1:45. They really need to score, do something in order to get back into this game and make it a lot closer. As that ball is thrown to the right corner, it's the shot that connects with Zach McRoberts, but it's rolled a deep 2 as he was not behind the arc. As trying to go the other way, rejected by Purdue, with Indiana trying to drive inside right there. But we'll see what the refs call on the screen if it was a foul by Purdue. Here's the first one from the line, and it's a miss by Carson Edwards. So followed by Indiana's Jawan Morgan. Purdue is driving into the lane, going the other way. With it, Purdue's up 66-53. The 5th toughest schedule of all college basketball, the Purdue Boilermakers. And Carson Edwards delivers right there as a couple more tough games lie upcoming for Purdue As on Wednesday, 7 p.m., they got a contest in Columbus against Ohio State. As the ball's on the ground in the key, Indiana turns it over, and now slowing down the tempo is Purdue up by 14, 67-53 with a minute left, just closing this one out. We'll put Matt Painter, 14th season at Purdue, will have his 307th victory as Carson Edwards tried to drive inside and slam it in, got rejected there with it, and Indiana driving the other way gets fouled, so they'll go to the line. Matt Painter will get his 307th win at Purdue today, as the Boilermakers will move to 12-6 on the season, 5-2 in Big Ten play. Up next, they got a game on Wednesday at Columbus, and then against the top dog right now in the Big Ten, the number 6 Michigan State Spartans. They host them next Sunday at 1 p.m. Cassius Winston has been a factor for the Spartans as he scored a career-high 29 points in Michigan State's win on Thursday. And that was against Nebraska that Michigan State won that game. Cassius Winston right now is top 6 in college basketball for assists per game. As both of the free throws go down for Indiana, they're down by 12, but Purdue is basically going to dribble this clock out. 45 seconds left to Edwards, and he gets past the timeline, just slowing it down with 20 on the shot clock. For the Hoosiers, they'll fall to 12-6 overall, 3-4 in Big Ten. They've lost 4 in a row now as they look to get some magic back against Northwestern on Tuesday. Top of the key 3, and that goes down for Carson Edwards, putting the exclamation point on this game, and Purdue up by 15 with 17 seconds left. Will go away here at home with a W. Ball is stolen off the pass by Edwards. Purdue will just clock it. 8 seconds left as Carson Edwards just dribbling around at the corner of the front court. Fans on their feet right now at the Mackey Arena, West Lafayette, Indiana, and that's the ball game. Purdue wins 70-55 as the Boilermakers now get their 12th win of the season at 12-6 overall. Indiana falls to 12-6 as well, but 9-0 for the Purdue Boilermakers this season at home with that big win today by 15. For away games, the Indiana Hoosiers falls to 1-5 on the season for away games, and they've just lost their 4th in a row. So yeah, I'm just going to update the scoreboard, let everybody know that that's the game, and then sign off. So Indiana with 55, Purdue with 70, and this is a final. As that's basically it. The Purdue Boilermakers win by 15 today for the final score. As we look to the box score for the player of the game for Purdue, and it was 20 points dropped today by Carson Edwards, who leads the Big Ten in points per game for average points per game, and he's 4th right now in college basketball for average points per game. Let's see what that total is. It's 24.9 points per game that he's averaging. So he just got a little bit below that, but that's still good. 20 points today by Carson Edwards. Nogel Eastern as well with a double-double for Purdue. He had 10 points, 10 rebounds. This one just went final. Thank you all for watching today, as you've been watching Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube, and I'll be fast-forwarding to about 2 hours from now. I'll be having the stream of Virginia versus Duke. Number 1 in the coaches poll and the only undefeated team left in college basketball. The number 1 Virginia Cavaliers as they're traveling to Cameron Indoor Stadium to play the Duke Blue Devils. That one will happen 2 hours from now at 6 p.m. So I'll have the stream of that one. Remember to feel free to like our video, and you can chat with us whenever, and anything about college basketball I like to chat about, and we got some playoffs this weekend, so feel free. Be sure to check out my stream 2 hours from now, as I'll be doing play-by-play and live reactions of Virginia versus Duke later tonight. as this is basically it for this stream. And just remember, before you go, feel free to hit that big red subscribe button down below. But this is it. Final from West Lafayette, Indiana, Purdue. Winners of this one, 70-55 over Indiana, as you've been watching Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube.